Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host, and this is Community Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very fortunate to have in the studio today former alderman of the city of North Chicago and former trustee, Shield Township in Lake Bluff, Illinois. We're going to be talking about an update on Charles January Jr., and we're going to be listening to reflections on his career. Good evening, Mr. January.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks, and how are you today?
We're very happy again that you're taking time from your busy schedule. I may say this, each time you're on the program, my ratings go up.
Yes, I appreciate that. That's a good thing.
So I'm very happy. So for the listening audience and our listening audience is approximately 100,000 people, and Comcast, the listening audience, but we do air in Kenosha County. We have Cook County, Can TV in Cook County, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, all over. As a matter of fact, we're online, so you're going to be seen all over the world.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a wonderful thing. Thank you for the opportunity.
I want you, first of all, to share with us a little bit about your personal and professional background. Who is Charles January?
Well, Charles January is a native North Chicagoan, graduated from 1980. I was in Taekwondo back then, and I stayed in Taekwondo, so I'm currently a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo, World Taekwondo Federation certified. I went to the College of Lake County, then I went to Shimer College, then I went to another college, and I got an education. I moved all around, moved to Roselle, moved to Schaumburg, moved to Algonquin, found my wife, Kathy January, and moved back to North Chicago and been back in the community about 10 years.
It's a very unique family because you were an alderman and you stepped down and ran for mayor.
Yes,
now she became alderman.
That's correct.
And this is very fantastic. Well, what piqued your interest in politics?
Well, I have to say, from a young age, I lived in Waukegan, and thank you for reminding me. And he's just passed away recently, Robert Evans Sr.
Yeah.
I lived at 845 South Utica in Waukegan. My grandfather was James Dunklin, the #1 insurance man in Lake County at the time, and Robert Evans was a newcomer to insurance, and I just liked his charisma. I liked that he kept things under control in the First Ward. He was an outstanding alderman. He cared about the community. He cared about the citizens. Anything I asked Alderman Robert Evans Sr. to do, he did. So, and Robert Evans Sr. introduced me to the mayor at the time, Bob Sabanjan, Robert Sabanjan Sr., and I was impressed with his tenacity, his willingness to serve, so much so that he was upset that how the Black African-American community is being treated by the police department in Waukegan and some of the union stuff, so he just shut it down. He got rid of the Waukegan police officers and brought the state in, and we kept saying, and we see the state police cars go by, we'd say, hey, look at that, state police are here. Better not mess up now because we got the state police. And I was so impressed, and then I must say to you, coming to North Chicago and talking to former Mayor Betty Thomas, that just, and Betty's relations to Robert Evans Sr. And I must say to you, that family has a leadership ability in them. And I always wanted to be an alderman, and then I thought, if Mayor Betty Thomas can do it, I can do it too. But like I have to say, Bob Sabanjan, the mayor of Waukegan, Robert Evans, the alderman, and Betty Thomas, the mayor, I had some good mentorship because they were outstanding leaders. And they always, all three of those folks had vision. And North Chicago, unfortunately, I tried again. And Dr. Brooks, I'm very disappointed because we had 1,029 people vote. We have 8,400 registered voters in North Chicago. That's a shame. And to the community, we need 5,000, as I keep saying, my theme is 5,000 voters in North Chicago. They had, I think they had almost 10,000 voters in Waukegan this time. That was pretty good. But I have to say to you, with 5,000 or more, that makes our shareholders, our congressmen, our state representative, our county board members, and I'd be behooved if I didn't say anything about Audrey Nixon. She was a county board member for almost 40 years.
Yeah, 35
years. And she just, not that politicians just stay in politics that often, because I do have that theme that says 2 and out. You should get 2 terms. We need some newness and move on. Because when you have politicians in politics for a long period of time, things kind of stay the status quo. There's no newness. And as you keep saying, I have to quote you, if you keep doing things and electing people to the same office, seeking different results, it's just not going to happen. And in North Chicago, unfortunately, we have the same mayor again. But I'm going to do something this time. I'm not going to get kicked off the ballot. The next time I'm going to do what I know to do is right, make sure everything's. And I didn't play the political game, Dr. Brooks, with kicking people off the ballot. I looked at Leon Rockingham's petition for office, and I didn't do anything because it should be the people's choice. And unfortunately, I had a team this time run. I had Terry Harris run in the 1st Ward against Ernest Fisher. I had Lorraine Thurman planning to run in the 3rd Ward. She was kicked off the ballot by challenge. And everything on her ballot was correct, but she was kicked off. And my wife, Kathy January, on the 7th Ward was kicked off. And fortunately, I'd say, but she was victorious.
It was meant for her to be on because very seldom anyone wins as a write-in.
Correct. And Dr. Brooks, she's the first write-in candidate in Lake County to win public office.
Oh, okay.
So not only did she win, she's been the only first non-black Caucasian alderman in over 30 years in North Chicago. So, and we don't, me and her, because we're a mixed couple, we don't see color. We just see people. And what the Januaries in Lake County want to know, and especially from North Chicago, is we really care. It's not about being elected officials. It's about changing the climate and the culture in North Chicago. Because as you well know, look at our town. We don't have a grocery store. We have Abbott AbbVie. 80% of our North Chicago at-large residents that live under 24 are unemployed. We have no new industries. We have Jelly Belly that left us, 125-year-old company. They're gone. We're home of the United States Navy, Dr. Brooks. We have the richest street, Buckley Road, in the state, and no utilization of that road. So it's a lot of things, and I can keep you on here for hours, but it just, we need a plan. We do still, to this day, not have a strategic plan by the mayor of North Chicago.
Tell us about the plan that you talked about for the last 2 terms, the 2 elections, Isn't there an opportunity to learn how to devise a plan from the state? Don't you get training from state organizations? What is it?
We have the National League of Cities.
National League of Cities,
and I want to do. I must commend Mayor Rockingham for that. And I actually got to go to the National League of Cities as an alderman. And I must tell you, we're a city. We're in a municipality. There are cities just like us. Some better, some worse. We're somewhere near the some worse. All we have to do is put our zip code in, and we can call fellows in Washington, D.C. They have the plan. They have the strategic plan. They have the comprehensive plan. They have the child to senior plan. They have every plan that we can adopt. We are a city. Unfortunately, we have a mayor, if it's not his plan, it's no plan. And as you see, and I must say this, and I mean this with all honesty and sincerity, if we don't watch out, we're going to be a gentrified town.
But tell me this, though. You say the mayor has a plan. Now,
Well, he has got the CMAQ plan, and CMAQ got $1 million to give us foo-foo paper and show us, our downtown and what we can do. But there's still no strategic plan. There's no comprehensive plan with all of our shareholders. We have a city, we have a park district, and we have a school board. That's 3. I would like to see us have 1. Because when you have 3 and 3 are not cohesively together, it doesn't work. And when you have individuals looking to come into our city, the first thing they're going to look at, what's the crime and how are the schools? If the crime is outrageous and the schools, and they're trying, but I don't believe, and what I just have to say this, Dr. Brooks, what the school district did to the Daisy Brooks Resource Center.
That's a program within itself.
Woo! I just want to say to you, I am just ashamed. Here was a program that was working. And we need programs for our children. We need before school programs. We need after school programs. We need programs that are going to crystallize, galvanize, and give our children the opportunity to compete. Our park district needs to be a part of the Amateur Athletic Union because that's the organization that has the resources. So when you have someone, I love flag football. I never played it. Played it once maybe. I didn't like tackle football. But when you have AAU football, you can go to join the AAU, and then they give you all the motor movement skills. Everything is a building block program. It's not the guy that was a coach in football that wants to be a coach and doesn't have the material. The kids today, because they have apps on their phone, it'll give them plyometric drills. It'll give them all kinds of stuff that we need to motivate the kids to be athletic. So what the park district's focus, I believe, should be, and we do have an excellent park district board now, but they have so many challenges. And I was there for a while teaching martial arts. You have to have a number of people in place, like the Brookses have always been educators. We need more Brookses in our town. We need more things for our children and our young children to do.
But why don't the Brookses get support from the community?
I must say to you, it's got to be jealous. I have to say this to you in all earnest. It's a little bit of jealousy because when you have done as much as you've done and you've never asked for anything in return, you have your family members. Cassandra, principal of a school. She was in North Chicago. When you have things like that, other individuals in the town that don't have that, they're jealous. And that's what it is.
Too bad. My wife got recognition from the President of the United States.
Dr. Brooks.
I've aired that several times.
I must say to you.
And my daughter got recognition from the President also.
I understand, but I have to say to you, the reason being, unfortunately, you're in the wrong community. I love you because my heart goes out to you. You didn't have to stay here, and you did. And for Dr. Daisy Brooks to get the presidential award is, and we don't have a statue for her. There should be a statue because people should know. If you were in Waukegan, there'd be a statue. If you were in Gurnee, there'd be a statue. There would be more focus because when you get something from the President of the United States, not many folks get that. That's a pat on the back that's just outstanding, auspicious. And when you have individuals in your town, I'm going to come to the Brookses. If I were the mayor, I would have the Brookses Day because stature. That's going to make the whole community look and say, hey, she did a wonderful job, and she got recognition from the President. So to me, when you are a leader, you want to give, if you have citizenry that are leaders, you want to show that. because that helps your city. The mayor is supposed to be the rah-rah person. He's supposed to help industry. He's supposed to be at all the meetings. He's supposed to be trying to bring us a grocery store. I was told, and I've tried to get the information, but everything seems to be covered up. Lewis and Buckley belongs to the United States Navy, Department of Defense. It sits right across the street on Buckley Road. I called, and I was told that at one time the Navy or the Department of Defense offered our city that land back. And they asked Mayor Rockingham what he would do with that land. And Dr. Brooks, I was told, he told them a semi-pro baseball team. That was his vision. Charles January's vision, being an alderman and calling, I want to see a grocery store. I want to see a Pappadeaux Seafood. I want to see a Dave & Buster's. I want to see a movie theater. We have 41,000 people that go up and down that road, and absolutely nothing to spend it on. We have the Veterans Administration on one side, and all of the land, most of the land up to Green Bay and Buckley Road belongs to the government. So I would like to do some revenue sharing. We need to facilitate them spending money in our town. And Dr. Brooks, I've been to most of our city council meetings, and it's just a sad commentary when we have different people come in, consultants, and every time they make a presentation, we have to pay. Why would we put signs to the city of North Chicago? They're not going to come visit North Chicago. Our city hall is closed up at 5 o'clock in the evening. What are they going to see? There's no visitation. There's no bean. There's no Navy Pier. And the mayor, I must tell you, and I can rattle on and on, but we talk about there's going to be a museum.
Oh,
Dr. Waddell
Navy
Brooks.
Museum.
We have a Navy Museum on the Navy base, and that's not seen. Why would they come off the Navy base, contrary to Buckley Road, to see a museum?
But I was concerned about the site. I asked the mayor, is North Chicago Sheridan Crossing a site? He said yes.
No, it's not, Dr. Brooks. You and I both know it's not, and I'm going to explain that to you. Citizens in North Chicago and Lake County, unfortunately, that land is capped because it's contaminated. Why would you want to put something on there? Back when I started as an alderman, Dr. Brooks, I called some horticultural people, and they said, Charles, you need to plant some soybeans and some stuff to suck up some of that poisons. Okay, you keep doing that and you cultivate it, and then the land it'll clean itself up. It's going to take 10 years or 12 years. When I first came back to North Chicago, Dr. Brooks, I must have called 60 different companies because soccer in our territory is real big. So Charles January made some phone calls and come up with a plan to put an indoor-outdoor retractable roof soccer stadium in North Chicago to sit 23,000 to 30,000 people. Why? That would bring sufficient revenue to North Chicago. That would make us a sustainable community. We are on the lake, but we have, except for water, what do we have? Crime, no education, joblessness for the kids, joblessness for the teenagers. I voted for it, and a lot of gaming facilities, video poker. That's what we have. And liquor stores, and a couple of churches. North Chicago needs more. We need industry.
So these are not the things that would attract people to come to
North Chicago. That would make the things that Lake Bluff doesn't have video gaming. Highwood doesn't have video gaming.
Okay.
Highland Park doesn't have video gaming. Let's be like our neighbors. Lake Bluff has a population of under 5,000. They've got a Target. They got a Hennons. They got a successful martial arts school. We do have a Dunkin' Donuts. That's a good thing. They have gas stations, and they just have a lot of more things than we need. And we're 5 times larger than them, almost 7 times larger than them. So we need things that are going to help North Chicago and put our children to work. We're a very diverse community now. I'd say we're 60% Spanish plus. We used to be 60% African American. That's no longer the truth. Where I live on the base, we're almost 55% Caucasian, about 30% African American, and everything else. So in our town, in our little neck of the woods, I just want everything to be the same. I want our educational standard to be the same as Lake Bluff, Lake Forest, Highland Park, Deerfield, right on down the line to Evanston. I understand we got a new superintendent of schools.
Yeah.
He's from Evanston, Illinois.
Okay.
I hope he has a plan. Not the plan that we priorly had, but we need to get the focus from the out of the administration where we're paying enormous salaries, over $125,000 to 4 people, excluding the superintendent. I don't know what he makes. But Dr. Brooks, I must tell you, from my cost-benefit analysis background, it's not working.
Well, we have the state has taken over the administration. Why?
Because we don't have, well, we had some unfortunate things in the past with stealing and fiduciary responsibility.
Okay.
We need to get that back. As a mayor, his job is to get that back. But again, when our current mayor sends a letter to Springfield to the powers that be and say he supports charter over the school system, what is he saying? And then his comment was, well, his grandchildren go to charter. Dr. Brooks, that just is not right. And I went to the meeting as an alderman, and I stood up and said, I want charter for all of our children.
Yeah.
The standard should be the same.
Yeah.
If we need to, parents, if we need to extend the school time, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., with early childhood development, with before school program.
You know what you're saying is visionary because I interviewed a guest on my program was from Korea, and he was given the long hours that the Koreans go to school from.
Yes, sir.
The hours that you had mentioned.
6 to 6. Yes, sir. You know. They have to leave their house at 5:15 in the morning. And Dr. Brooks, there's no such thing as being late. That's not acceptable.
But I just may throw this in. He said the suicide rate is higher.
It's higher because they are in challenge because we're no longer a community within a community. We are a global community. Used to be, yeah. Dr. Brooks, your degree mattered. Now what you have between this ear and this ear is a map. It's a source. And if you know coding, which our children are not getting in school, they're trying to change the system to core curriculum. That doesn't make us smarter. Okay, so when you have those type of elements and you don't have good role models, I want to, in North Chicago, look and see a successful millionaire or someone that's very successful and model after him. It's called modeling. When you don't have people that you can model after in your community, if you get some education, you don't want to come back here. I want people to come back here. I am so proud of you, and I'm so proud of Daisy. You guys have been here, 50 plus years?
Well, since 1957.
Yes, that's old. That's a long time. And you've always tried to exceed the expectations. I remember coming to some of your programs that you had with different individuals, and I must tell you, we didn't have that in Waukegan. You didn't hear about it. And I just want to say thank you for the Brookses, because in my community, we've got a few people, and the Brookses are on top. I just want to appreciate you for everything, and you can't and you shouldn't pat yourself on the back. But Dr. Brooks, you have done, you and Daisy, with the Resource Center and the child care and all the programs that you have for disadvantaged females, and just your accolades and awards. I want to thank you.
Well, we go back to infants.
Infants.
We started for infants.
Yes, sir.
And what's the pro basketball player?
I can't think of his name. I can see his face. I can see
championship
his face. Yes, sir.
team. came here, but we can't get him to support.
Yeah, well,
he supported the playground facility across the street, Ketzmeyer School.
Ketzmeyer School.
But we can't get him to.
Well, you have to understand.
So it's kind of mind-boggling, you know.
It is, but he has contacts that look at the community and say, what does the community need most of? Mm-hmm. And the people that his handlers say they need playground stuff. So that's why he did playground. Now, if the people that handled him say, and I got to talk to him a couple of times, I can't call his name, and he thought Sean Marion. Okay. I talked to Sean Marion's his sister is real big with him.
Okay.
And I talked to her, and she was like, Sean has done everything that he can do. He's really trying, and I don't even think he's having this program in North Chicago anymore.
Okay.
That's a shame. But we've had a couple of football players too come from North Chicago that made the NFL. So
Johnny Johnson Jr.
Yes, sir.
was in diapers with us.
Yes.
He did take a few snaps with Detroit Lions.
Okay, that's good.
But he's kind of small too.
Yeah, to be.
But look, tell us though. We talk about qualifications. Tell us about the qualifications for a mayor. You mentioned about he should be visionary.
He should be more than visionary. Unfortunately, he was an alderman for, I think, 3 terms. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's been a mayor for 3 terms.
Okay.
This will be his 4th term. Mm-hmm. Name me one thing that he brought, not on his list of things that he says he accomplished, which none of those were his accomplishments.
Okay.
Those were people underneath him that he took credit for. Mm-hmm. Dr. Brooks, you have to have a 100-day plan. You have to have a 3-month plan, 90-day plan, 6-month plan, 1-year plan, 3-year plan, and end of your term. What's important, we also should be looking at, I would like to see change. So to be the mayor, you should be an alderman or an elected official, because if you're not an elected official, you don't understand the culture. But on the other hand, if I wasn't an alderman, yes, you should run for alderman or commissioner, Park District. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Brooks, or trustee from your district, that qualifies you to run for alderman. What I like to see, like Chicago, taking some things from them, they have committeemen.
Okay.
So there should be committeemen, then the alderman, then the mayor. But again, as I said since I ran last term, we have a problem because our leadership says mayor first, staff second, mm-hmm. alderman third, citizens last. The way it's supposed to be, citizens first, alderman second, mayor third, staff last. Dr. Brooks, when you have more than 4 people in a town that the average income is less than $32,000, make over $100,000, there's a problem. Mm. So what we have to do is rethink these things. We have, as a prime example, Zion doesn't have overtime for their police department. North Chicago does. Mm-hmm. Zion is similar to us now, other than Zion has the largest cancer treatment center in America in their town.
Right.
And because of that, they have hotels, they have Jewel, they have Applebee's, mm-hmm. they have, I love that, it's a Butterburger. I can't think of the name of it, it'll come back to me. They have a number of things in Zion that I'm proud of Zion for having. But mm-hmm. I want to be just like Zion. I want North Chicago to have several companies to put people to work. And Dr. Brooks, I solicited for companies, and I got a chance, and I got an opportunity. I gave a presentation. I called the guys. They thought they would come to North Chicago. I put it up on my website. If you go to YouTube and put Charles January Jr., it's the only thing there. And it's the whole presentation that they gave to the city of North Chicago. Mm-hmm. It's not happening because Leon Rockingham didn't bring it to North Chicago. And that's 900 to 1,300 jobs, livable waging jobs. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You put dead presidents, I hate to say dead, but that's what it is, in individuals' pockets. They're working in the community. They have a house in North Chicago. They're going to take care of it. What Betty Thomas said back in the day was we have too many renter things.
Oh, yeah,
I want to change that.
Is that about 70% renter occupied?
I think it is 70% renter occupied. But at the rate we're going with no new infrastructure, and Abbott Abbey may or may not leave, they're giving to our tax base, but no employees. The employees are coming from elsewhere. They're not coming from North Chicago. So Jelly Belly is gone. The Navy has, I think VA has a percentage of North Chicago employees, but they're older, and a lot of them have moved. They got their retirement, and they're leaving. So we need a sit-down plan, and I must tell you, I've tried literally everything to get individuals involved, try to have a forum for people to come to, no response. So I guess it takes a lot of money. I guess I would have to, which I don't have deep pockets, to throw at the individuals to get them to participate, because it's about participation. When we have the numbers we have, less than 1,000 in a town that has 32,000 supposed citizens, that's terrible. And crime has about stayed the same. A lot of police officers with a lot of overtime. A lot of money being spent. New cars with no new sidewalks for the patrons to walk up to the city hall. So it hurts me to see it. I would love to see change. I would love to see the mayor bring all the citizenry, have town hall meetings and say, this is my plan, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what we're going to do first, second to 10. That's never going to happen.
Well, two things involved there. You mentioned about the mayor has no plan to offer, and then getting the citizens, I think the most, you could guess about 25, 30 people to come out to a forum.
Yes, sir.
On a fifth.
Fifth Monday. And that's a political thing. That's not what he's going to what he's going to do. Okay. And because if he had a plan that says this is what I'm going to do, citizenry, I would be at every one of those meetings. Okay. But when he talks about what he's done, look around. Look at our roads. And Dr. Brooks, I must say this, Lewis Avenue is no longer ours. Argonne Drive is no longer ours. Martin Luther King is no longer ours.
14th Street is the county?
14th Street, we manage that one for the county. But that's the county property, yes. Lewis Avenue belongs to the county of Lake now. Martin Luther King belongs to the county of Lake. Green Bay Road belongs to the state.
I'm wondering about Abbott. Tell us about Abbott. They have, the zip code is 60088.
Yes, sir.
It's not 60064.
Well, you must understand, Dr. Brooks, and I, as an alderman, I tried to look into it, and I never got anything from the city. But we get money from them because we revenue share with supposedly a facility, a retail outlet. I'm going to talk about this because I wanted information. I'm going to have my wife look into it more because she never got the honors. And I must say to you, Dr. Brooks, we are on our way to being ruined because I believe in the next 4-month period, North Chicago is going to get a major lawsuit. It happened in Bellwood, and a company tried to come and we changed the rules. We violated their constitutional rights. My wife and the aldermen that are up there that try to get information, got partial information, and they voted. And now who's going to make money? The attorneys. And I must say to you, Dr. Brooks, all earnesty, it hurts my feelings to find out that back some years, 1988, 89, we had an adult bookstore that wanted to come in North Chicago. The city council and the mayor and the powers that be, the lawyer at the time, decided it was worth $1 million to fight. Now, whether I want a bookstore, an adult bookstore or not, they should have the right to put the bookstore there. If it doesn't make money, guess what? It'll go away. That money could have been spent in other things. Dr. Brooks, we have Betty Harris, who's been talking about the children for years, 8 years that I know of. And we could have given her $40,000 to have the kids cut the grass. But no, We paid JT Landscaping over $300,000 to cut the darn grass in North Chicago.
Wow.
Dr. Brooks, that doesn't make sense. Please don't tell me prevailing wage. I know some things now that I didn't know back then. But again, when you have aldermen that don't have a mission statement, aldermen that don't have either non-education, but things that is giving the not knowledge of how to do things, and then they're told this is what you should do, they're going to say yes. Mm-hmm. So an alderman getting in for a second term or after 3 years, it takes about 3 years to really know, because there's no mission statement. None of the standing committees, there's no cohesiveness, so you don't know what you're empowered to do and what you're not empowered to do. Example, I went to the city of Chicago. I went to the clerk of Chicago. I spent the whole day getting all of the information of what committees are supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I wrote it all up. I presented it to the city council. It went in the garbage, Dr. Brooks. They don't want that. So whatever the current mayor says, unless there's aldermen with teeth, nothing's going to happen. Like, we let the mayor, and it was front page news, and he didn't ride around in that car during the election time. Or I think I would have got more votes. He's got a leased car for over $500 a month. Show me four citizens.
Newspaper.
Yes, sir. Show me 4 citizens in the city of North Chicago with $500 lease monthly payment plan. I'll take you to lunch. It's not going to happen. Not $500. Maybe $430. Maybe $480.
Well, since you mentioned finances, let's just mention this. Did I give you a copy of this?
Yeah, you gave me a copy of it.
I think my alderman provided me a copy.
Okay.
It was voted on the mayor, clerk, treasurer, and alderman salaries. They have to vote this in before the election.
Correct.
So when a newly elected office take over. Now, the mayor's salary was $52,000. Now, a few weeks later, it's $82,000, which is $30,000 more.
Increase.
And
look what he's done.
And the next year it's what, 84,000.
84,000.
Then 87 up to the end of the term, $90,000. And I know like Green Oaks and I guess Gurnee, these are part-time mayors. In money, and they wealthy, they can afford it, right?
Correct.
But they don't. But we're a poor town.
But Dr. Brooks, you have to realize.
And look at you mentioned about the salaries of the people living in the town.
It's correct. But look,
how can they afford to pay these kind of salaries?
What you have to understand, the vote the first time was no, Dr. Brooks. What happened was there was a 4-3 vote.
Yes.
Kathy said no as a 7th alderman, so it didn't work. What did Leon Rockingham do? He waited until Kathy left town because she had to go to the funeral. My mother-in-law passed. Okay. And he re-brought it up. And it was a 3-3 tie. He broke the tie to give himself a raise.
Oh.
That's what happened, Dr. Brooks.
And the people didn't get excited about that?
No, because they don't, either they're not involved enough or they really don't care about what the mayor gets and what he doesn't get. Just the outside community cares. Okay. I've heard citizens tell me he needs to get all he can get. But when you have responsibility, I want the least of our community to be able to survive.
The newspaper kept it up front about the car.
Yes, sir.
But no one got excited about it at the city council.
No. Because 4 of them voted for it.
I mean, the community didn't.
The community didn't, but again, they're not voting what the community wants. They vote what they want.
Right.
So we have, and I'm not going to pick on him, but I just have to say this. Ernest Fisher, the 1st Ward Alderman, that's the saddest looking ward in the city. He's the 1st Ward Alderman, over 20 years an alderman. Look at that ward. Go down those streets, watch your car, because there's lots of potholes, lots of stuff happening in the 1st Ward. That's wrong. There's no cleanup, and I have to say this. Alderman, and I miss her so much, Valerie DeVos.
Oh, okay.
She had a program, and Alderman Bobby Allen tried to follow up with the Dr. Brooks, and that was beautification.
Oh, yeah.
She went way overboard, but I thought, what a wonderful lady for doing that. And she did run for mayor. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is we have to change the culture. We have to make it safe. Do you feel safe to walk outside of your house at 9 o'clock and walk the city of North Chicago, Dr. Waddell Brooks.
Deadbolt locks.
Deadbolt lock. Yes, sir. But the thing is, you have to have engagement with the community. And when you see a young man doing something that he's not supposed to do, you should tell him. And if you tell him and he gets abrasive, that's when you have to call the police.
I made several attempts, and everyone knows this about forums, and I call it all kinds of names, the Brooks Forum, the Leadership Forum, all types, trying to get people, local people involved. But it doesn't seem to be. And then I checked up and see we're 70% renter occupied, but so they just don't seem to care. But something has to be done to get people inspired.
Well, I have to say to you, I went into other communities and I talked to some of their leaders there. And I went to Washington a couple of times, and I went to Georgia, and I went to Alabama, and I went to all these states because I do martial arts and I get to talk to community leaders. Mm-hmm. And I have one guy, and I won't mention his state because he asked me not to, but he has a hug program. He just walks up to people and gives them a hug. Now he's the most popular person in his city.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if people would be receptive to that here. I would just want them to say, if you have an idea, we have a downtown North Chicago that is 60% underutilized.
It used to be flourishing. You couldn't hardly walk downtown on Sheridan Road.
Yes, sir.
Clothing stores and two drugstores.
Drugstores. We had Dairy Queen.
Okay,
Yes.
Dairy Queen.
We had a movie theater. When I first moved here back in 72,
the Park
73.
Theater?
We had a Park Theater. Yes, sir.
Kroger, I think, was up there.
Kroger was there.
15th and Sheridan
Sheridan
Road.
Road, yes, sir.
And speaking of grocery stores, we had about 4 chain stores.
Chain stores. A&P, Jewel.
Kroger, and
one more.
There's one other. Piggly Wiggly.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Piggly Wiggly, right.
But the thing is, our
14th Street.
community's changed, and it's not changed, I would say, for the worse. What we need to do is, and unfortunately he passed away, and we called him Preacher Howard.
Yeah.
And Preacher Howard used to be a pilot. And Preacher Howard's famous claim, he said, Charles January, you came back here, you ran for alderman, you're running for mayor, I support you. He says, we got to get a grocery store. So I made some phone calls, made lots of phone calls. Lots of companies said they wouldn't be interested. But when I explained to them the demographic change, they're like, you become a leader, we might bring a grocery store.
But you have a grocery store, Save-A-Lot?
No, sir.
You know,
that's not a grocery store. That's not a full-service store. It's not in our town. It's in Waukegan.
But wait a minute, why didn't they
come to North Chicago?
Yeah, I think they
well, Dr. Brooks,
they try to come in.
You have to understand, when you have a mayor that says, I need, mm-hmm. and he's not giving direction, and then we have a zoning board that he appoints everybody and pays him as much as an alderman makes. That's not free. Okay? He has a police and fire board that he's paying. That's not free. And we're supposed to have 2 Democrats, 1 independent. No, 2 Democrats, 1 Republican.
Okay.
We don't have to follow state statute because that's what it's supposed to be. Rockingham changes things to benefit him. That's not him kicking my wife and me off his electoral board that he did.
You say he. What's the composition of that
electoral board? It's the mayor, the first ward alderman, and the clerk. And because there were candidates running, he couldn't preside over that part. So it was the next alderman, and that was Bobby Allen. Then it would be Fisher and the clerk.
Okay.
And that's how it went for the people that were running for mayor. Yes, I was accused and was down corrected that I did complain about Anthony Coleman on the ballot. Mm-hmm. I called Anthony and told him I was going to do it. What happened was I thought I should be running against the mayor by myself. Mm-hmm. Because, again, I like Anthony Coleman. He has a lot of vision and fortitude, but, again, he has no plan. He doesn't have a clue. Mm-hmm. I like him as an individual, mm-hmm. but, again, a $22 million to $26 million budget.
Okay.
You don't come to a city and a city that's hurting like us and say, let's all be friends. You have to have a plan. When you don't have a plan, your staff is running the city.
I'm really concerned that these plans are available at no cost.
Dr. Brooks, there is so much
through the
National League of Cities.
National League of Cities.
There is we can be given anything that you can talk about in the city. You can go to the National League. If we haven't figured it out, they have. And if they figured it out and we like it and they believe that we're going to use it, they'll send a fellow, that's a PhD or graduate student, that's going to come and help us facilitate the plan. Why wouldn't we use that? Dr. Brooks, we have land that the United States Navy, DOD, tried to give Leon Rockingham. That's part of Halsey Village, not 4-star Halsey.
Okay.
All those empty buildings.
Okay.
He said we don't have any money to do anything with those. It doesn't take money, it takes ingenuity. We have homeless veterans, Dr. Brooks, all over the place. We have one of the largest VA, Navy facilities in the country. Why can't we be utilizing that for that? But instead, I have seen Chicago Police Department, other police agencies, and they're using that as, searching and all kinds of stuff for that. Yeah. All we have to do is put up a coat of paint and some more walls and let them live in there instead of them being homeless on the street. Let's fix our community. Let's help. When I go to churches, Dr. Brooks, I've been saying, well, Charles Jen, you go to churches and you're politicking in churches. You have never heard me politic in a church. All I've said in a church is we need people to come to church. Invite 5, you're going to get 3, 1's going to join. Invite 9, 5's going to come, 2's going to join. And keep doing that. Our churches in North Chicago should be full. We don't have synagogues, but all of our denominational churches should be full in North Chicago. All of our civic organizations should be full in North Chicago. If we have them, they should be full. We have the Elks, we have the Masons, we have Shriners, we have all these different, we have Rotary, you were Rotary. All these organizations need to have Exchange Club.
And the mayor's a part of Exchange Club.
Yes, sir. But it seems to me it's only for his group.
Okay.
It's not for the group at large. And when you go to those things, and I want to give the Exchange Club credit because they've got a lot of different people in them, but the majority of those are not North Chicagoans.
Okay.
So we need North Chicagoans. We need North Chicago. I want to give something for North Chicago. Instead of us spending $75,000, $90,000, $100,000 on a 3-day event, let's invest that money in something that's going to do some. Let's have a horticulture or a holistic. We can get hydroponic trailers. What that is soil enriched soil to sit on top, and we can have the best vegetables in the state. On that land that's sitting down there empty. Let's stop playing games. The mayor, we had Western Solution. I know you remember them. They were supposed to bring all this stuff to North Chicago. They didn't bring us anything. And then when they left, I was told they were trying to sue us.
Yeah.
So, and now we got this new group. What are they doing? And now I'm told they have a TIF district. They brought it to the alderman with no paper, Dr. Brooks, and said to him, oh, we want to make it TIF and we want to do some things. You don't do that. It's one or the other. You pull the TIF back and you try to give some creative financing. But if you have no money, what are you doing?
Now, you mentioned about Western Solutions, and our time is getting away from us. I guess we're going to have to do a part 2.
Oh, part 2, yes, sir.
Western Solutions, we have a community developer, and I'm aware of about at least 3 that I know of that we paid the high $100,000 salaries to. It came in and left.
Yes, sir.
But we don't have anything developed.
No, nothing developed. So I said to the city council.
And what bothers me, though, I'm, looking at multi-ethnic and so forth, and and I have never seen a minority community developer.
Well, we have one. We have a Spanish one now. He's from
Spanish, but
yes, sir.
I should say African American.
No, you're never going to see that, Dr. Brooks. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And I would have to say.
Aren't they available, though?
Yes, sir. I know several. Yes, sir. Would be less salary than what we've got now. Okay. But again, when you pay a salary of that magnitude, over $100,000, and he has no physical budget, To do anything what? What, is he supposed to take the money out of his pocket and bring people in? No. So you start him, or you start an interim person or a consultant at $65,000, put $50,000 in a kitty and let him go try to bring some business. And if he brings something, we can do some creative things then. But when you do it the reverse and expect things to happen, the guy is way over his head. He don't have a clue. I don't care what he brought to Mundelein. This is not Mundelein. We don't have the infrastructure that Mundelein has. We need light industrial. We need 3 shifts of 90, 100, 300 people working, living in North Chicago. That's what we need. We need more industry to come in. With more industry, we're going to get everybody to spend more money. When you have dead presidents in your pocket and you live in a place, you don't want crime to go up. You want crime to go down.
We don't have money turning over one time in North Chicago?
No, sir.
Not one time?
Well, it does turn over in the video gaming. It turns over there. Because I think the city gets up to 25% of that, 20 to 35% of the revenue.
But otherwise?
Otherwise, no. And liquor stores.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I'm picking on the liquor stores, but that's what we have.
Oh, you have. So citizens are unaware that all the licensing for liquor stores go to the
Goes
mayor?
to the mayor, yes, sir. So if there's a fine, he's the liquor commissioner.
So that's legal.
That's
for
legal,
that to
yes,
happen.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's all
Against
over?
home rule. No, it's not. It's home rule again.
Rule.
Home rule. Waukegan is home rule. North Chicago is home rule. And Zion was home. I don't think Zion's home rule anymore.
Okay.
But what I must say to you, I would like to see the liquor commissioner split up to the aldermen and have the liquor in their wards.
Because this salary doesn't mean very much, then you got to add.
You got to add
liquor.
$5,500 for that plus fines. All that goes to him.
Added to the
that bottom line. Yes, sir. But him saying that we have him dignitaries and stuff, him driving around, driving himself around.
This was the alderman.
Dr. Brooks, I must say, it's comical to watch this and him say that we're moving forward. Moving forward doing what?
Yeah.
What are we moving forward doing other than paying outrageous salaries? The salaries are not commensurate to what we have in the city.
Amazing.
It's amazing. And it doesn't make sense. But again, if you do that, not that you know, and you keep doing it, you're expected to do what you're doing because you don't know. And I just want to say to the citizens, get involved.
Yeah, that's the key.
We need you to run for alderman, park district, school board, everything. County board, trusteeship, Shield Township. We need you to get involved because with your help, maybe your plan and my plan are not cohesive. They don't work. But if we talk about it enough, if we do some planning and we plant a flower, we're going to watch that flower grow. But if you plant it on ground that's dead or our soil is bad, it's not going to cultivate anything. We can't grow it up. So North Chicago, Lake County, help us help you. Get involved. Help your fellow man. When you see something not working, tell the alderman, we need to fix this. If he's not willing to fix it, I got to give Alderman Markin and Alderman Carl Evans, especially Carl Evans, they work in their ward. I've seen Alderman Markham picking up trash all over.
Wow.
All over his ward. I've helped my wife, we done it, but we didn't. But I seen him do it. I don't want to give myself a pat on the back. I watched Alderman Markham do that. So I endorsed, when I ran for mayor, I endorsed Markham. I endorsed with Terry Harris. I endorsed Kathy January because I thought with these people, we could have changed North Chicago. And I'm going to keep trying. I'm not going to give up. But I want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, Dr. Brooks, citizens of Lake County, Dr. Waddell Brooks has a radio show. He has this community forum. He's done this for a number of years, and he cares about his community, and I love him for that. And let me explain that. That's not agape love. That's love, the opportunity to value him. And I must say to you, I am proud as Plum that I got the opportunity to speak with you today. I am proud as Plum that Waddell Brooks is still here and we won't be able to replace him. So when you see him, give him a boy. Tell him thank you. And I know you do, because when I go out and I'm around the community, people talk about Waddell Brooks. And I really appreciate what Dr. Brooks and what Dr. Daisy Brooks has done. And with that, Dr. Brooks.
Well, thank you very much. This is unsolicited, and I thank you very much. And you might pass on the love, and I mean it too, to your wife, Kathy. Outstanding person to have on the city council.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with former Alderman Charles Janray Jr., former trustee, Shield Township, is giving his whole life to making things better for all the citizens in North Chicago. Well, actually, he's in Waukegan, Zion, and he's all over. So we're very fortunate to have him and his wife. He got his wife involved, and
yes,
she's
sir.
doing a great job. Thank you for tuning in, listening to another awareness session on Community Forum. And Community Forum airs every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on Comcast. This has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.